Shalom, and welcome back. I'm Levi Chazan coming to you from Yeshivat Rayonu Yehudi in Yerushalayim. And it's time once again for Parsha Shavua. Good to have you with us today. This week's Parsha, Vayechi, teaches us about the last years of Jacob's life down in Egypt land. And now as Jacob gets sick, before he passes on to the next world, he gathers his children around him, the 12 tribes of Israel, and blesses them. And he instructs them, saying, I will be gathered until my people bury me with my fathers in the cave of the field of Ephron, the field that was in the Machpelah, which is in Hebron, the place where Abraham buried Sarah his wife, and Isaac buried Rivkah his wife, and the place where I buried Leah. So here is his final instructions. And he had made Joseph swear to him that he would be brought out from Egypt land, the place of impurity, brought back to the land of Eretz Yisrael, the land of the living. And so it was. After the mourning period for Jacob, the Jewish people, the children of Israel, the tribes, take Jacob and head back up to Eretz Yisrael together with the Egyptian army. And after traveling for about 3 days, they enter into Hebron, where the Machpelah is, and they're ready to bury Jacob there, the mighty one of Israel. But sure enough, we have a surprise. There at the gate of the Machpelah stands none other than the archenemy of the Jewish people, Uncle Esav, Jacob's brother. Standing there with his sword, he comes out and says, hey, wait a minute, gentlemen, not so fast. The last spot over there in the cave is destined for me, Esav. It's not for Jacob. The brothers are stunned. They never thought of such a thing like that. They have documentation which shows that the plot in the Machpelah belongs to Jacob. Esav smickers and says, well, where is that documentation that you're talking about? Well, they actually didn't bring the deed with them. They never thought that they would need it. They left it in Egypt. Well, what are we going to do? It doesn't seem that we could do anything at this point, is there? Other than to send Naphtali, one of the sons, back to Egypt to bring the deed to prove to Esav that the spot in the Machpelah really belongs to Jacob and not to him. There's no choice. What are we going to do? So they lay old Jacob down, probably under a tree for some shade, and now they'll have to wait until Naphtali could travel back to Egypt and to come back to the Machpelah. There's no choice. What could one possibly do? Facts and proof must be brought before Esav. So what are we going to do? Esav claims that the Machpelah belongs to him. The children of Israel want to bury Jacob. So they place Jacob's body outside. In the meantime, Naphtali, who is quick on his feet, could run back to Egypt and then come back to Hebron. Yes, it will take a day, 2 days, maybe even longer. In the meantime, Jacob's body will be outside under the shady tree, while the children of Israel will play sheshbesh, will play backgammon, until time passes for Naphtali to get back. Now, it's interesting to note over here that how did exactly the Machpelah get out of the hands of Esav and into the hands of Jacob? Our rabbis fill in the details over here by telling us that when Jacob returned from working all those years in Lavan and amassing a lot of wealth over there, he had placed all of this wealth in a tremendous pile, gold and silver. And he told his brother Esav, take everything over here in this pile for the rights into the Machpelah. It will be a deal, a business deal. Because, what did Jacob say? All the money in the world that I attained in Chutz La'aretz, lo shaveli, is nothing to me. It's meaningless. It doesn't have a blessing, basically. Money from Chutz La'aretz just doesn't have a blessing as it does from money that's obtained in Eretz Yisrael, the real McCoy. So Esav went for it. Esav went for this deal, and he took the silver and the gold, and he gave up his place in the Machpelah. That's what was written in this deed that Naphtali had run back to Egypt in order to bring back. That we know about. So what do we have over here? We have this scene over here where Jacob's body is outside waiting. Naphtali went back. And the boys, the tribes, are sitting around waiting for Naphtali to get back. Maybe playing backgammon, maybe a nice game of chess in the meantime. Who knows? Passing time, so to speak. But there was over there one person who was, our rabbis teach us, he was hard of hearing, couldn't hear so well. So he didn't understand this argument that was going on with Uncle Esav and the boys. He didn't understand what was going on. This, of course, was Hushin, the son of Dan, from the tribe of Dan, his son. So he was a little hard of hearing. So he didn't understand what was going on. He didn't hear the exact details, but he did see this incredible Chilul Hashem, this incredible harification of God's name. Here, his grandfather Jacob lying on the floor while everyone's waiting around, and Esav standing there with a smirk on his face with his sword out, not letting anyone enter. He saw a tremendous Chilul Hashem, not understanding the details. But when you see a Chilul Hashem, you take care of it. And so he took out his sword, and with one swift move, removed the head of Esav himself. Oh yes, one swift move, and Esav's head went rolling down the road into the Marat HaMachpelah, in a side room over there. And that, so to speak, ended the problem over there. When there was a Chilul Hashem involved, you take care of business. Not too much of a dialogue is actually needed over here. And at that point, the Jewish people were able to enter and to bury Jacob in the proper respect that he was due, and not to wait the days until Naphtali had to come back. This is the lesson that we see over here in this week's Parsha, vayechi. When there's a horrible Chilul Hashem involved over here, it must be taken care of. Because that's what a Jew's purpose is in this world. As the Rambam brings it down, a person is commanded l'chadeshem shamayim, to sanctify God's name. That's his whole essence. And we do it every single day by his commandments and through other acts. That's what it's all about. And that's what Hushin, the son of Dan, took care of. When he saw this horrible Chilul Hashem, he took care of business in order for Jacob, the mighty one of Israel, to find his final resting place. I'm Levi Chazan, and you're not. And I'm coming to you from Yeshivat Rayonu Yehudi. Until next week's Parsha, boys and girls, we'll see you then.